So I recently made the mistake of watching a movie called #horror that only really appealed to me in the first place because I noticed some similarities between it and a short film that I would like to make in the future. Now it has a 3.6 rating on IMDb, so obviously when I went into this my expectations were low, but for all I knew it could have been a hidden gem with maybe even a few great qualities to it that could perhaps make it enjoyable. It wasn't. So first I'd like to get the things that I actually did like about this movie out of the way before moving on to the actual review. The cinematography is pretty decent, and there's some nice camera movement even on basic close-ups that most movies would just lock the tripod off for. So congratulations Lauren Congratulations to Lauren Carhanoff on being the only competent person who worked on this film. I also quite liked the score, although I don't really know anything about music composition, so for all I know it could be really shitty. As well as this, it got slightly less terrible towards the end. Like, if the first half of this movie is a 1, then the second half would probably be a 2, I guess. So now that's over, here's everything I hate about this fucking movie. Okay, so first up we open with this captivating shot of the tree. And oh my god, the dialogue and the acting in the scene is so bad that it's almost as if it's a parody of horror films.
I'm just excited we get to go away for a dirty weekend.
It's a dirty weekend. What is that, a Brit expression?
No, Angelica told me about it. It's one of those weekends away, somewhere you're not supposed to be with someone you're not supposed to be with.
But anyway, there's no more time for that romance shit because there's a murder! Now anyone who is familiar with the Gaspar Noé film Enter the Void will probably notice that director Tara Subkoff has attempted to imitate the opening credit sequence of Enter the Void for this movie. And while I don't see any problem whatsoever in imitating, paying homage to, or drawing inspiration from other art forms in your own art making, it concerns me greatly that Subkoff decided to include an Enter the Void-esque opening credit sequence in her film without actually understanding what made the opening credits for Enter the Void so great. Unfortunately, it seems to me as if she went for the "it looks cool and works for one film, so therefore it will look cool and work for my film" route without taking into account the context of why it works so well for Enter the Void and why it may not work so well for other films. The subject matter of Enter the Void is heavily focused on drugs, in particular psychedelics, so it only makes sense that the opening credits are reminiscent of that of a wild neon dance party and are intended to set you up for the mindfuck of a film that is to come. #horror, on the other hand, is a movie about a group of 12-year-old girls who cyberbully each other for an hour and a half and then all die in the last 5 minutes, and is certainly not the type of film that would call for that kind of thing stylistically. Additionally, each title card in Enter the Void's opening credit sequence is contrasted against a black background, which from a visual standpoint is a little easy to look at despite still being kind of seizure-inducing. The title cards in #horror's opening credit sequence, however, are each contrasted against dense, confusing, multicolored backgrounds that are just plain awful to look at even when they aren't flashing by at near subliminal message speed. So after the credits are finished visually assaulting us, we arrive at a scene with our main character talking to herself in the mirror, which actually turns out to chronologically be at the end of the film rather than the beginning. Now this kind of thing may work if this was some non-linear art film, but this is the only point in the entire fucking movie where something like this happens and then the rest of it is just in chronological order.
You like that? You want me to cut to 3 weeks earlier when you were alive?
Okay, can someone please explain to me what the actual fuck the point of this pulsating egg is? It shows up on 3 different occasions throughout the film and makes less and less sense each time. I mean, it's obviously not canon to the universe of the film that the artwork is literally pulsating like that, so the only logical conclusion that I can draw from this is that maybe it's intended as symbolism. And if that's the case, then why the fuck would you have this surrealist symbolism kind of shit in a movie like this?
Why did you invite her? We don't even know her.
Yeah, we don't even like her.
Yeah, and she smells weird.
It's just her breath.
Wow, what convenient timing. Okay, so now I think it's about time that I introduce you to our characters. We have our main character Sam, we have the bitchy one Kat, we have Sophia, who is arguably the stronger actor out of the 6 girls, which isn't really saying much seeing as they all suck. We have the fat gross girl. Her entire character is just that she's fat and she's gross and she's kind of just a punching bag for everyone else.
You look like a sausage in that. A fat little sausage from the Stanford Mall.
Oh my god. That sounds like a fart.
So everyone can hear me taking a dump?
All you care about is eating cake. You know what my god is saying? No. He's saying another cupcake. I'm sorry.
What?
I just farted. Cream cheese frosting does that.
Not only are you mean,
You're truly disgusting.
You're such a fat, mean pig. Whatever's out there, it is a lot better than staying in here and watching stuff your fat face!
And then we have these two filler girls who don't really serve much purpose other than to help take up space until they can fulfill their roles as part of the obligatory body count. And just for context, this movie takes place at a gathering at Sophia's house with Chloe Sevigny playing Sophia's mum, but we'll talk more about her in a minute. Congratulations, you've been visited by one of this film's many overly distracting grainy scenes. Like this video in 0.420 seconds or else the only film you can watch the rest of your life will be #horror. There are multiple scenes in this film where only 1 or 2 shots will have a distracting amount of noise happening, likely due to poor lighting, and then another 1 or 2 shots will be nice and clean and well lit. And when you're constantly cutting between these 2 different types of shot, it gets fucking annoying. Anyway, now Kat's father is going to deliver some exposition to the audience to help them better understand why she acts like such a little bitch later on in the film.
Yes, Mr. Talbot, I understand, yes. And, yes, I thank you so much for not suspending her. It means a lot to me.
Also, this isn't really a criticism, but I couldn't stop myself from laughing at how much this guy talks like Nick Cage in this scene.
The only thing that matters right now are getting good grades and what school you get into.
You know I'm not gonna stop. Not until D'Amico and his whole damn operation are burnt to ashes and buried.
Okay, can I please call bullshit on movies making up fake interfaces for technology that everyone knows doesn't really exist? Like, this is clearly an iPhone, yet the font, colors, names, emojis, and whatever else are nothing like that of an actual iPhone. And don't fucking tell me that this has anything to do with copyright. This movie managed to use the actual text message sound effects used by iPhones, and even features an iPhone in close-up, with the only difference being that the Apple logo is replaced with a hashtag. So at this point, I'm like at least 99% convinced that Tara Subpar, get it because her name's Tara Subpar and she's a subpar director, saw Chloe Sevigny in American Horror Story and was like, wow, Chloe Sevigny is so good in American Horror Story, maybe I should put her in my horror movie because she's just so cool. In fact, maybe I'll even give her the same name as our HS character as a subtle nod to the show. That would be hella rad, haha. Now, Chloe Sevigny is certainly a competent actress. She's not great, she's not bad, she's just good. She was good in American Horror Story and she was good in Kids, but she is not good in this movie.
Oh no, that's impossible. I'm having people tomorrow. It's a mess in here. It's crazy making. It's chaos. Absolute chaos, Ted.
Maybe she's just the kind of actress who is dependent on the director, which might explain why everyone in this movie is so god fucking awful. And I don't mean to be hateful towards any of these children. From the behind the scenes footage that I have seen, I can tell they're all really lovely people, and I hope they all go on to have successful careers in whatever path it is that they choose to take. But these bitches can't act for shit. Now, one very important element to the plot of this film is this app that our main characters use, which is basically just Instagram combined with a form of gameplay. It's never really explained how it works, but I would assume that the number of likes, views, subscribers, or whatever else you get is what allows you to advance to higher levels. Now, while this is fine on its own, the execution, presentation, and depiction of this app in the film is so fucking obnoxious, so over-edited, so loud, and so fucking distracting that it is one of the main factors that literally makes this film the unwatchable pile of fucking garbage that it is. That scene transition. Also, I'm not sure if you're aware, Tara, but no one uses the flash when they're taking photographs indoors with good lighting. Also, the photo sound effects are distractingly loud. Now it's time for the obligatory character delivers exposition out of nowhere to the other character in order to explain to the audience the creepy history of the horror movie house scene.
Did Harry tell you anything about the rumors? The old legend of this place? This artist, Ray Jameson, he made all of his darkest and most disturbing pieces when he was living here.
Ray Jameson ended up brutally killing all of these people that wouldn't leave his party.
His body vanished. They never found him. Supposedly he committed suicide on this property.
But there's no more time to worry about that because Kat needs to have an outburst and start behaving like a little cunt towards the fat girl without provocation for absolutely no reason whatsoever other than to serve as a plot device to move the story along. and it's fucking hilarious.
Maybe you should quit gymnastics before you start to look like a tranny. Yeah, exactly. That's what fat people do. They make us laugh. Seriously, maybe it's a time to start investigating lipo. I mean, you are a plastic surgeon's wet dream. I'd cry too if I were you. No, actually, I would just kill myself.
Kat, that's too far. Cut it out.
Kat, really? Enough! Get out! You're seriously kicking me out? I'm sorry. We always say this stupid stuff to each other. I really didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Georgie, I swear. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Listen, Kat! If I forgive you right away, you will never stop! Kat, you have to go. Please leave when your host asks you politely. Please don't do this. I'm sorry. You don't understand. I don't have anywhere to go. Forget it! Just forget it!
So the girls rightfully request for Kat to leave due to her behavior, so she runs away to the 88th Academy Awards ceremony to collect her Oscar for this performance.
I hate them. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Oh my God.
Hi, this is Dr. White. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911.
Mom would never screen my goal. You never ever pick up. It's not.
And the Oscar goes to
Hayley Murphy. #horror.
You are very sick in the head. You live a web of lies and deceit. You need to be committed. Yeah, because that's totally how 12-year-old girls would insult each other online and not how a 50-year-old woman with no understanding of teenagers would imagine that 12-year-old girls insult each other online.
Great fucking job, Tara!
Meanwhile, back inside the house, the girls engage in a philosophical discussion about the impact social media and technology have on society.
Can't you just stop looking at that? Maybe turn it off for a while? Put it down? Can't you do that? That's impossible. No one can do that.
So subtle, so nuanced. This is yet another one of the main factors that literally makes this film an unwatchable pile of fucking shit. The social commentary.
I dare us all to lock up our phone in the safe until Sophia's mom gets home.
Yeah, then we can hang out with each other and not be on our phones all the time.
Oh God. Like lock up our phones for real. I think that's not safe. You guys just moved in and you don't have a landline yet, right?
Well, like, no one has a landline anymore.
Well, there's nothing to do without our phones.
I mean, I would say we could look it up, but we don't have our phones to look it up on.
Now, I am all for social commentary when it comes to movies. I have no problem with you using a film or any other form of media to suggest that phones and social media may have their downsides when it's woven into the story in a way that's layered, subtle, and doesn't distinctly take any sides. What I do have a problem with is when people lazily fist this "the phones are bad" kind of shit into their movies without executing it in a way that would require any effort or thought.